Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We have some special guests on the line this morning. Of course, Eric Adams, who's been on the show last week, running for mayor of New York City. And
our Brooklyn Borough president currently.
And also we have Audrey Jackson on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well. If Audrey Jackson is Pop Smoke's mom, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Audrey, how are you? Good seeing you.
I'm well. Good to see you as well.
Now, I want to thank you for joining the show this morning. I know you want to honor your son, and this is with an anti-gun violence message. And February 19th,
yes,
is that correct? Is the date that your son was unfortunately killed. So can we discuss this initiative that you guys are doing?
Well, I was really deeply moved. We did a video together, and I spoke with Audrey and her husband, Pop Smoke's dad. And I walked away from there just really saying that this story must be told. Sometimes when we look at those who are in the record industry, we do not know the depth of the families who are involved. Audrey is an educator, an amazing educator. Her husband is in the financial industry, of an industry that's challenging for a Black man to navigate, and he's extremely successful. And Brother Pop Smoke had an amazing foundation that we saw in his creativity. He didn't just come out and all of a sudden decided he wanted to rap. He was deeply rooted in strong faith, a strong understanding of the English language, knowing how to put together the lyrics, and he brought his own flavor to it. And as I finished the interview, I walked away saying, you know, this is a story that people really need to hear, that this brother was taken from us at an early age because of gun violence. And we are losing too many Pop Smokes all over our country that could have a significant impact on the direction of who and what we are. And gun violence has become the new slave owner. When we saw Black men disappear from the continent of Africa, and we were wondering where they were going, they were in the belly of the slave ship. Gun violence is becoming a new belly of the slave ship. Too many young Black men we are losing, and we need to turn this around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, the bad thing about with the gun violence so much, it just seems like more of the criminals have an upper hand, because we were talking about this last week. You know, your normal person can't get a legal handgun, so it's like you're at the mercy of a criminal a lot of times, which is very, very scary. But Miss Jackson, I was going to ask, you know, with your son's success, is it? Let's talk about that moment, because his record gets played everywhere, every day. I mean, you see his videos, you
got
hear
a movie
his
coming
name.
out.
He has a movie coming out. How does that feel? Because I know you want to be happy, so it's almost like a bittersweet.
It is. It's very painful. And, you know, I get the language where people think this is entertainment for me, but it's not. He should be here with you this morning. You know, this is what we were looking forward to. It's these moments that, as you said, they're bittersweet. Here's a Breakfast Club. You guys, he listened to you all every day. He sat in the kitchen at the table, played you all. This should have been his moment. Everything I'm doing to promote and expand his legacy, it looks from the outside looking in. She's on stage, but every moment of that is painful, because there's a way that in planning it, there's a secret place inside of me that says at the end of the day, when this event happens, he's gonna be there. And then at the end of it, I'm trying to check in with myself. Well, why are you feeling so bad? The thing went well. And then I realized I was expecting him to show up. And I'm still in that place.
And I know he had started the foundation, like Eric Adams said, the Shoot for the Stars Foundation, even prior to that, because he was so interested in giving back to his community. So is that foundation, you guys are still operating? What's happening with that?
We're going full force ahead. The commemoration on the 20th is kind of our coming out. where we're getting just the community to come together to talk about social justice and social justice movement and how his music impacted that. And so then we're going to just go forward from there in just providing other things for the community, basketball events and things such as that. We're looking at technology, not just technology, giving you a set of computers for your classroom, but giving our young people access to technology, how to use it in various kind of media.
And what's powerful, I don't know if the three of you missed what Sister Jackson was saying, but that's why your show, when you talk about health, Brother Charlamagne, when you talk about mental health, and, Brother Envy, as you talk about, violence and gun violence, he sat at the table listening to your show every day. You are speaking to a body of people who are not tuning into CNN. They're not tuning into CNBC. You are feeding the next generation. And so when you engage in these real conversations in between the lightheartedness and the joking around, in between your sentences and paragraphs is really shaping the minds of the Pop Smokes of today. And so, we cannot thank you enough that you were part of the development of this brother. Sister Jackson gave him the foundation, but you took that foundation and nurtured it and turned this brother into an artist, but also who gave back. And, we need to stop this overproliferation of guns in our community that's coming through the iron pipeline, I-95, and finding their ways in the hands of people who are taking our young men and women from us.
Ms. Jackson, I know healing is hard, and it's something that I'll probably never truly heal. So when you constantly hear his music being played everywhere, does that help or hurt with your healing?
It hurts, and I'm going to tell you guys, I don't, unless I have to, I can't listen. I mean, even in my car, I turn on news. I can't, any kind of music, because that was our connection. That was our thing. It sounds kind of iconic, but we dance together, we sing together. We were just kind of, our relationship was around music in our household. Right. So music is hard for me to hear, but I try to listen to, when something really is being played and is popular and people are saying to me, Mom, this is really jumping off. I try to listen to it. There's some things, because I recognize who he is to his peers and I'm a teacher, I try to use things. So I don't play it, but maybe I'll use the words to teach because then the words are there and I'm not hearing him. So it is difficult. It really is painful. And it's not getting easier. It really is kind of getting harder, but harder in a different way. So there is shift. And I'm grateful for the shifts, but this is not easy. It really isn't. And I didn't expect it because I've lost other people in my life, people who are very close to me, and it's just not the same. And I don't have any words for it.
Oh yeah, that's a son. I mean, you carried him for 9 months. Mm-hmm. You delivered that young man. That's a total different level of attachment.
And it never goes away, even when the physical umbilical cord is cut, the emotional cord remains for a lifetime. My mother still calls me when I'm in a dark place, and she'll tell me, I don't know what's going on with you, but let's just take a moment to pray together. Because moms never lose that connection. Dads are there and will always love their children. But, you're right, brother. We came from within, and it doesn't change just based on the physical separation. And what I found fascinating when we did the interview, how they stated that, they were realizing what their son has turned into. You look at your children sometimes and you say, that's just my son or my daughter. But then all of a sudden you realize just how large they came overnight. I'm sure the children in the school, as Ms. Jackson was sharing with me, how the children in school was telling her who her son was, and just the outpouring of people saying how he impacted them. And it's just an amazing transformation. I thought about it when you said it, dancing with them. I thought about my brother used to sing the song "Dance with My Father."
Luther Vandross.
Right, Luther Vandross, you know, that's that powerful song. She would exchange all of this just to dance with her son again.
Yeah. Well, I see we just
Did
lost
we
her.
lose Mrs. Jackson?
Yeah, we just lost
And
Mrs. Jackson.
you know, I wanted her to. Okay, I don't know if she's coming back. But I just wanted to say one last thing is when it comes to gun violence, you have to think about how it affects not just the person, but also families and whole communities. And I know Mrs. Jackson has other children, so I can't even imagine what that must be like to have to deal with the trauma of something like that.
And you know, it's so funny you said that, Angela. I was at a funeral of a young brother. He was 18 years old. And I watched the young people who were there go into the casket, seeing this young brother lying there, and you know, it was in Harlem. They were crying, they were all distraught. And as I watched each person walk to the funeral, crying and falling out and in pain, at least out of 6 of them I knew had bodies on them. You know, these cats took the lives of people. You know, some of them were on trial, some of them just came home. And I went outside and I brought them together. And I said, you know, that pain you're feeling, think about it. You gave that pain to someone also, because, you know, you cats have bodies.
Right.
And sometimes we're not connecting that person in the casket is similar to the person that, you know, we took the life of a person who's feeling that same pain. And that's the pain we have to stop.
Absolutely. Now, Ms. Jackson, I was going to ask, you know, have we heard any updates with anything that's going on with LA? Are they being open? Are they giving you updates? Do we know what's going on with the gentleman?
The charges
and all that?
You know, they're working on it. They're looking at, because 2 of them are minors. One in particular, I think, is the 14-year-old. They're looking at, you know, how the charges get played out. Like the 14-year-old is a minor, so that works in a particular way. They're trying to see if the 17-year-old can be charged as an adult. And of course, the 40-year-old gentleman definitely is being charged as an adult. There's some issues with some restrictions now on how they can present the case. So they're working on those types of things, but they're very good with kind of calling me and letting me know what's going on. They keep me in loop. And if ever I just need to ask a question or to talk to somebody, they take my calls.
Now, as black people, we're so quick to forgive all the time, right? When it comes to everything in life, no matter what it is. How do you feel about those? Because you said a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. What are your feelings towards them? Have you got there yet, or no? Not at all.
For me, it's neither place. I mean, they've done something, and there should be some sort of repercussion for what they've done. You know, but my brain goes to their households that have been disturbed, right? Mine has been damaged, but their moms and dads too have had some stuff. So it's not about forgiveness per se, but just kind of understanding the dynamics of what's going on.
I'm always looking.
Am I ready to go out to tea and to lunch? And not yet, but I really try not to operate out of a place of negativity or anger, because it doesn't serve any purpose.
Right.
How's your family holding up, Mrs. Jackson?
It's hard. His brother, you know, his brother's whole thing is he feels like a part of him is missing. You know, he'll stay in his room because he knows his brother's not outside in any of the other rooms in the house. You know, dad is waiting for his phone calls. You know, there are things that he did with each one of us that the other one wasn't necessarily aware of. So everybody is missing their moments. We're a normal family, and, you know, things happen, sibling rivalry. You know, he was a teenager. He was supposed to be trying to separate himself from us because he was trying to become, right? As all children do. But he had his individual relationships with each one of us that we all miss.
How can we support? Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, Ms. Jackson, were you always supportive of his music, or were you skeptical at first?
No, he was excited. You know, he would come and he would, I just had a vision of him. I'm going up the stairs and he's like, nah, listen to this. And, you know, he starts singing, especially the one that's out now, which you know about Love.
Yeah.
You know, he was, you know, because he was trying to change his flavor, you know, so I would just stand and listen. I was excited for him and I was excited with him. You know, when I listen to the words, I'm like, ooh, okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. But no, I was excited for him because he was excited.
As I depart, you said something that was powerful also when we were interviewing. I can't tell you, Brother Envy, how many times I sat in a courtroom during a murder trial, and on one side of the court was the family of the shooter, and on this other side of the court was the family of the victim. And, when that bullet hits the body, the physical pathway may stop, but the emotional pathway rips apart the anatomy of our community. And none of the families are the same. A 14-year-old child, that family is really disrupted. And now you have Pop Smoke's family, his brother, that emotional trauma, and that bullet continues to travel. And that's what I really hope people hear what Ms. Jackson is saying, that it didn't end when the bullet hit Pop Smoke's body. It is still traveling, and it travels generations. And that is what we want to stop. We want to stop the generational passing of that trauma. And there's so much we want to do and continue and to live on behalf and uplift the life of this brother. So thank you for letting me get on and having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely.
How can we support, and how can we make sure that people out there know how they can support?
Well, just on my end, number one, doing what you're doing, engaging this conversation the way you're doing now, and really starting a real movement of forcing the federal government. We have a new president. Senator Schumer is the new leader of the Senate. We can push through some powerful gun laws to stop the flow of guns in our community. There are no gun plants and manufacturing companies in Harlem and Brownsville. These guns must stop finding their ways on our street, and then mobilizing our young people to have a real anti-gun violence movement to save the lives of the young people in our city. And so I think there's some great opportunities. Pop Smoke's family has an amazing foundation that I'm sure Audrey will go through, but we can really use mediums like this to really highlight this conversation.
And Ms. Jackson, how do you think he would?
Thanks, Eric.
How do you think Pop Smoke would have responded to this level of fame and success?
You know what? He was humbled by it. He really was. He was humbled by it. I remember him talking to us about the kind of love that he felt from the audience or his fans when he was performing. And I'm feeling that. Like I inherited that. That's his legacy to me. His fans are a really special group of people. There's a way that they're grieving his loss as if they have lost a family member, but he was humbled by it. He really was. He really was.
And 50 Cent really executive produced that last album. Is there more music that you guys have in the stash too?
Girl, I'm not sure that's their end. If there is, I'm hoping that we can put something out, but I'm really not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to tell you, Ms. Jackson, I know it's coming up on a year since Pop Smoke, was taken from us. So I just want to send you healing energy, and I just want to send you love and light, and constant condolences to you and your family.
Absolutely.
And how can we support the foundation for people listening? Where can they go to support?
It's www.shaketheroom.org, right? That's the point right now for the event that's coming up on Saturday. But beyond that, it's just shootforthestars.org as well. And so we'll have information out there as to events and things that we're providing for the community. I'm working on something to kind of gather mothers together, because part of what happens is that, that sister with that 14-year-old who's just kind of gotten off track, there was some support that she needed, right? As mothers, we need support. Absolutely. And it's not always there, right? So it's about figuring out how to create that moment and create that space, as well as for creating sacred space for the young people to come and have a conversation. And that's what we're hoping that Saturday will be the beginning of. A sacred space, a defined space where you can come and have that conversation about the society that they've inherited from us.
Well, thank you so much for checking in again. And
I just one last thing. Have you been in communication with the mother of the 14-year-old?
No, I have not. I have not. I'm not sure I'm ready for that conversation, but there's no animosity, because as a mom, I get it. I get it. You don't send your worst out there. You send your best. Mm-hmm. You send your best. Every time your child leaves your house, you are sending your best. And sometimes things happen.
Well, thank you so much.
Things happen that are out of all our control. You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you so
much.
Thank
you, Mrs. Jackson. We appreciate you and send you love.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.